Alrighty, and we are live. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's good to be back. It is another day in our Legend League CWL, and thankfully things are going well for us today on the defense side of things. Yeah, hope you guys are doing alright. It's good to see the one above all here early in the chat. Let's see here. I did want to point out the fact that the Legend League season does end today. It actually really kind of snuck up on me, you know? Miro, hey, what's going on? Welcome to the stream, bro. I did actually do something a little unusual, and I started a brew of coffee. I don't normally do that at this particular time of day, or I should say this time of night. It is currently 11:46 p.m. for me, Yeah, so we'll start the stream off just by going over the remaining bases that I have to hit. I do have 6 attacks. We can also start off with some replays of some good defenses. These are my targets here. And yeah, I did drop some plans for a couple of them, or for a few of them I should say, because in a couple of them, number 2 and number 8, they are using some pretty common layouts that I should be able to crush pretty easily. Danny, hey, what's going on? It's good to see you, bro. Tough luck with that 99 you did today. If you don't mind, I could show it off, but if you don't want to show it off, that's all good. You guys did do well in the first, like, 7 attacks, but then this 1 star was kind of the downfall. But, I gotta say, it's also a job pretty well done by my clanmates. We do have 26 stars in the first 9 attacks. Let's start here with one of Fuzzy's hits. I'm going to leave this going, and then I'm gonna go grab my cup of coffee real quick, so I will be right back. And there we go. Krish, hey, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, I gotta say, Fuzzy's been really doing an amazing job this week with this particular strategy. You can already see how there's already a bit of overkill. There's a leftover invis and a totem. And yeah, this strategy has been doing a great job for him as well in Legend League. Yeah, your base is finally doing better. Yeah, the first few days we were using base packs that were shared to us just by leaks, pretty much. And to be honest with you, I do have this issue every month where those bases don't work. And I think that the biggest reason why those bases don't work is because they are not tested to the extent needed to defend properly in CWL. Check out this setup. This was pretty cool. He picked up the multi-gear, the revenge shower, the CC, all this stuff in the area, and pretty much cut the base directly in half down the middle this way. Bro, it's time to switch our armies to Faizi. You know what's funny is that actually I was using backpack throwers in that one first week where you had to place for like the splitting of Legend League when it got split up into 3 different leagues. Dex, hey, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so once we switched over to more Legend style bases, we finally started defending properly, and so that finally got us back into the fight for a respectable position. After these couple of replays, I will show you the standing that we have currently. Actually, it looks like we're potentially in a fight to place in 3rd in the group. MKOG Clash, hey, what's going on? Hey man, my friend Jacoby is your #1 fan, is that true? That's pretty cool. I used No Mercy and Feisty Strat and went perfect in Titan 1, that's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. Because No Mercy got that strategy from Feisty. When he played with us in Titan 1. Another nice hit. No spells left over, but an easy triple nonetheless. Here is number 6. I do think Feisty took down this base in a previous day, but I'm not sure if that replay is still there because I'm pretty sure it was against Cup Up Baby. And obviously replays from day 2 are no longer available because of that, you know, that maintenance break we had. You like the streams, I appreciate that. My name is Uisi and I own Cuban Ballers, that's pretty cool. I feel like I've faced you in Legend League before. That name definitely sounds familiar. Booja, hey, what's going on? Good to see you. And Andy, you too. Yeah, I do find it interesting that he set up an entry to go into the multi-gear. And I'm not sure why he did that. There's probably maybe a distinction to make here about how there's the enemy king on the side, which the throwers can handle pretty easily. He does have a lot of HP, so if the throwers are like over here, and then they all of a sudden get aggroed by the enemy king, then they can pull and get split at the 6 o'clock area, so. But that does mean you have to invest some extra spells to pick up the monolith, like the skeleton, which I think he used in this case. Managing this 6 o'clock area is the most important part of this attack. That way you get a clean path into the town hall, obviously. Leo, hey, what's going on? Good to see you. And Chirag, you too. Yeah, this was a nice overgrowth that covered the raid shower just after it was activated. That's always the best time to use the overgrowth. And then you can see with just how many spells he has left, with only like 30% of the base remaining, it's a pretty easy triple. I do see myself potentially using this strategy in the future, especially because I am pretty well versed with the giant arrow and the backpack. My clan is getting promoted to Titan 3, that's pretty cool. Glad to hear that. I don't think we will be participating in Titan 3 in the next CWL. We might actually. So there is a chance we will face off. A non-zero chance, I should say. I don't know really how great the chances are. This number 2 base is probably going to be my first target, obviously, because it's the base I've seen like a million times this week. And I do want to mention the fact that I tweaked my army a little bit. I essentially, this was a army composition I used in the previous day, because typically I like to run something like this with 7 dragons. But I think there was a base in the previous day where I wanted extra rocket loons, and so I brought 8, and then I ended up bringing this into Legends by mistake, and actually falling in love with it because the rocket loons tend to do a good job to support the army. How many clans you guys have? Too many? Yeah, we kind of have a lot. There's like, this one is one that I'm a leader of, and I think they're getting promoted to Titan 1, hopefully. If they do promote to Titan 1, then I do foresee myself playing there in the next CWL. What other clan can I show you? I should show you this one. This one is Feisty's clan, and it does have a 185 win streak, and this is that Titan 3 clan that I was talking about, that we would potentially find you guys in. Which army are you using in the next season? I do want to try Super Bowlers. I definitely want to try them. And I also want to try the throwers, obviously seeing how well they're doing in CWL. I definitely think throwers kind of have a boost from the previous season because the lava launcher was kind of cancer for them, right? And obviously we don't have any lava launcher to deal with anymore. What do you guys think about the latest round of crafted defenses? I honestly think they're pretty underwhelming. Like, I don't actually think they're doing much. I did miss the arrow in this case, which is not good. Gonna have to focus here for sure. If I get a good overgrowth, I think I'm in good shape. I'm only worried about this monolith. I think it's going to be an issue. Not looking too hot, but if the monolith goes down, that's really the last threat. Missing the arrow was the crux of this one, wasn't it? But the Duke is healthy, right? I think Candle is best, but weaker than Lava Launcher versus Ground. I think you're right, actually. Bro, it's very tough in Legends 1. You're absolutely right. I definitely think Legends 1 has a proper level of difficulty at the moment, especially after the latest round of balance changes. Anyway, that is 1 down, and there are 5 to go. Crafted have been easy to deal with so far. That's how I feel. None of the crafted defenses are really doing serious work against the heroes, like the hero hunter especially. I was expecting that there would be some more damage from that, or really it's just a better mechanic, because the hero hunter is the way it works is that if it's locked onto something that has a lot of HP and then a hero walks into its range, you would expect that it would target the hero because its favorite target is heroes, which it says, maybe it doesn't say that anywhere, but it should. But it will not always lock onto the heroes. It's not punishing enough, in other words, right? GM, hey, what's going on? Good to see you. I just crushed one of the enemy's bases, and the next one I want to look at, I think, is number 8, because this is another one of those common Legends bases. My plan here is to drop the Quakes to cover the CC, this Inferno, and the Scattershot, and then shoot the Duke from in between this, like around this Elixir Collector. I have a feeling in between the Elixir Collector and the Bomb Tower they could potentially miss the CC, so maybe just directly to the side of the Elixir Collector is a perfect angle. The Candle is low-key better versus hero charges than the Hero Hunter. I think you're right. I think you're actually right about that. I think you hit this the other day as well. Yeah, this style of a base has been really blowing up in Legends 1 lately. This one doesn't have the scatter shots over here. You would sometimes see this base with the scatter shots together with the Revenge Shower in the core. But as long as I get the setup right, it should be pretty easy to manage, I think. I'm predicting I'll use the Overgrowth somewhere over here, to cover the Cake Bombs, the Fire Spitter, the Multi-Gear, and hopefully this Inferno. And then freezes for the rest of the Rage Shower damage, although most of it will be gone from the setup. Let's see. I am trying to look for a pathing for the Duke for the follow-up. But I think I have it. I'm actually going to ignore the multi-archer tower. Normally I would take this defense down in the setup, but I don't think I have to do that in this case. I think the cake is a bit better against RC charges because the bomb can go off inside the invis. The cake is, like, in theory, the one that does the most damage, most consistent damage. But to be honest with you, I'm not finding that in my legend attacks. Or defenses, I should say. Let's go for this. We were winning on percent 39, and my clanmate decided to 1-star. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. I do get the value there, which is nice. But now I'm not so sure about the pathing here of my Duke. It's definitely a little sus. I really need something to properly secure the town hall though. Can tell you that. It's not the smoothest hit. And I just double dropped my freezes by mistake. But I do think that the dragons over here are going to secure the town hall, which is nice. So I think I'm mostly covered to triple this, mostly. This wasn't as smooth as my hits typically go on this particular layout, but it is going to be enough for 3 stars. Hello, can you show me CWL rank? Yes, I did mean to show you that previously, but guess I forgot. I can definitely show you what the standings look like after this triple goes through. Let's take a look. We are currently 7th, but I do have 4 attacks left, and those 4 attacks should be enough to get us back up to 4th place. That is what the rank is looking like at the moment. And the good thing is that with the plus 10 from our side of the win, that we should be in contention for 3rd place, which is pretty cool. GG, I always fail in that base. Yeah, it's probably because of the setup. This one's a little bit offbeat because normally for the kind of funnel you would want to go for, you would target the revenge tower. But going for the CC like this is a little bit of a complicated follow-up. But it does work pretty consistently on this style of a base. And I will show you guys what I drew out for the remaining 4 bases, because I didn't even draw any plans for those 2 bases I just hit. Those are very common layouts. So this one here is number 9 being ran by Frozen, and so my plan here is to eliminate the CC, the multi-inferno, the multi-gear tower with the Duke and the Queen, and then I'm going to follow it up with a Hydra behind the Fire Spitter. And this area is actually going to be surprisingly easy to deal with, despite there being a rage tower. It's only going to need like a few totems. Like I drew a couple early totems, but obviously we'll need a couple more, especially to manage the longer Guardian. The green is obviously Overgrowth, and I will be running a couple extra rocket loons to manage the monolith and stuff like that. Only 1 clan's emotes. Yeah, I know, that was kind of a surprise, right? I have a feeling there was a post somewhere that mentioned that 2 clans were going to be demoting, right? but it does seem to be the case that only one clan is demoting out of this particular league. Looks cool, you think so? I do think it looks pretty reasonable. Although maybe I don't need this poison spell once I eliminate the CC. I have a feeling that's the case. And the reason for that is because there's also a sweeper here. I can probably get better value from bringing an extra freeze to freeze the logger together with the sweeper. Well, my favorite streamer, hey, it's good to see you, bro. Okay, are we ready for this? I think we have a pretty good plan. The most important thing here is obviously to distract all of the builders properly, so that they don't end up repairing any of my setup targets. Just like that, and the setup is successful there. There's the early totem for that air defense. And the Duke is unfortunately going into the ricochet. That wasn't part of the plan. Here's that freeze that I mentioned. I would have preferred if the Duke went over where the Queen is headed towards into the Revenge Shower. I was planning to use a couple of rocket loons and totems to really make that work. But if the Duke secures the Town Hall, then I guess it's really not that big of a deal, right? But yeah, you can see why I didn't initially opt for this kind of a pathing for the Duke. The Duke is healthy. Which is a huge plus, and I still have both of my freezes, so I can definitely use those to control the Revenge Shower. I just used one preemptively there on the Prince, but I knew that the Overgrowth was going to expire soon. So, although I probably should have just waited for the Overgrowth to finish. And here is a swag revive. My Titan 1 CWL has only 5 days, but you have 7 in Legends. Yeah, the population in Titan 1 is actually still not that large. W, I know, right? That's 3 triples done, and I think that all I need is another 4 stars in 3 attacks to secure a win and 4th place, which is definitely a step forward from resetting 8th place, right? What's the clan standing? I'll show you. Yeah, at the end of day 3, we were in 8th, which is quite shocking, but I did have that feeling that we went up against our toughest opponents in the first few weeks. Can you show Faizy's attack? I did show earlier. So if you want to rewind back to the very beginning of the stream, those were literally the first things I showed. I will 4x through this one just to show you, but if you really want to watch all 3 of his hits, then you should go back to the beginning of the stream. That Revenge Tower might have been a little scary for a moment, but he does have an abundant number of support spells to make it through the second half of the attack, which I do like a lot. I do like that a lot. The tides are changing, you're absolutely right. We have a chance to fight for 3rd place, which is pretty cool. Would love to see that. Just tell me one thing, how many fails from Faizy? He's only done 2 so far, and he's done a total of 15 attacks, 3 per day, and he's done 2 fails, but 1 was a 1-star fail. That's all he's done in terms of fails. I'll show you guys my plan for the next base. I guess I can delete this now, right? Since I just crushed it. Ramesh was the clan member of Cup Up Baby. Is that true? You might be right. You might be right. This plan is for number 7. Danny, if you're watching in the chat, you can give me some kind of an idea if this is going to work or not, or if you'd rather play mind games, that's totally cool. But my plan for this base was to hit the CC, the Inferno, and the Fire Spitter with the Queen and the Duke. And then obviously this is the Hydra entry, and these black X's here are early totems. The reason I think this is going to work is because there's a clear pathing for the Duke to head towards the enemy king with totem spells, and ultimately into the Revenge Shower. This Overgrowth is probably going to have to be used early to control that monolith, especially if the Duke is in the area, but I also have plenty of rocket loons at my disposal. Obviously the Hydra is meant to go straight to the Town Hall and secure that, and yeah, I do think keeping this poison inside the Overgrowth, unless I can get something like rocket loons to secure it, is probably the best idea. But yeah, I do think that the plan is relatively reasonable, right? Use super balloons to take the poison. Yeah, I have 8 in my army. In this case I have 6, but I'm probably going to change that to 8. If they can reach the poison, that would be amazing, but if they cannot, I guess it's not the worst thing, right? Not really the worst thing. And another thing I like about that plan is the fact that it deals with this multi-inferno, which really does a crazy amount of damage when it's raged up. So I can easily control the scatter shot and the Expo with totems while they're raged, but the Inferno, not so much the case. I think you will get CC, Spitter, and Mono. I did think about that, but I do think that an approach into this side will work out better in the end. I was thinking about that, but the Quakes here are a little like a little suspicious, especially because there's a builder over here to pick up the CC. So even if I can get an arrow and the Duke to line up a shot between the monolith and the CC, I just think that either one of the Quakes are going to miss, or one of the builder huts might repair the CC, especially this one over here. The safest way to pull this plan off, if you wanted to get both of these, is to just bring an extra Quake. That's the safest way, but at least with an arrow from here, I won't need to bring any extra Quakes, and I'll still get a pretty decent funnel and an easy entry into the Rage Shower. That's what I'm thinking. Grab some popcorn, Daddy, because we're swagging a revive. I hope we can find some swag in this hit. We shall see. Let's go for it. If you hit the jetpack, it looks good. You think so? I just want to be very conscious about all of the builders. Just like that, I got the setup I think I need. And then I'm going to definitely use some early totems. Let's use a freeze to control the logger. I guess I can use poison on the logger too, right? And here is this overgrowth. Now, unfortunately, the prince is going together with the Duke, which is obviously not ideal. I'm gonna have to freeze here. Now, hopefully, the Phoenix can do a good job of picking up some value in this area, especially that monolith. If the Prince with the Phoenix can do that, then I think I can swag the revive here. And yeah, pretty simple approach, right? Have this base for friendly challenge. I wish I saw that before I did the attack, but it doesn't matter in the end. What a snipe. Do you mean with the arrow? It was actually a pretty easy shot. I wouldn't call that a snipe. Bro, share your attacking strategy video. I've been using this army for a long time. So all you have to do is just watch all my streams. All I need is one more star for the win, right? If I can get 2 more triples, then we will have 44 stars, which is definitely our best performance of the week. But it doesn't matter whether we get 40 or 44. We will still be in 4th place at the end of the day. Obviously, I'm just gonna pick up the stars for the overall group standings. Nice. I'm sorry, Danny. I know that was your base. Sorry to crush it so ruthlessly. Anyway, number 12. My plan for this base is actually to bring some sneaky goblins to line up a giant arrow shot through this builder hut and to hit the CC and the revenge shower. And the nice thing is that because it's a perfect arrow shot, I can also pick up both of the spell towers. The easiest follow-up is definitely going to be into the monolith. And this is a recurring thing, by the way, is that if there's if you look along the axis of symmetry and you always see a monolith on one side and the multi-gear on the other side, it's like almost 99% of the time better to start the Hydra into the monolith side, because they can take it down pretty quickly with totem spells. Itsu's clan did 45, that's pretty cool. They might be the first ever clan to do 45, although I don't know if 45 stars happened in the previous CWL and Titan 1, which was also in the Legends 1 modifier. But I do think out of all the different groups, that might be the first 45 of the week and potentially the only one. So let's switch accounts, right? I think I did switch, right? So it's a relatively straightforward plan. I just obviously need to bring the correct amount of sneaky goblins. I guess I can bring like 3 per storage. You could technically get away with 2, but with that builder in the area, I don't really want to take my chances there. And I do think that this is an appropriate composition for that base. They could do this against easy bases only. I don't know what you mean. Like 45 stars? I definitely think that it was potentially a result of good planning, especially because they have quite a diverse set of strategy in their clan, especially with Itzy, right? He's always using crazy stuff. Okay, I guess one thing I should also probably do is take down the multi-archer tower a little early. Which is obviously going to require some rocket loons, right? I can probably use 3 rocket loons and a wizard. And if I do it properly, then I do think that maybe that saves me from having to use some sneaky goblins on the storage, because the rocket loons do splash damage. So let me at least take a couple goblins away. And I can add another rocket loon, which is nice. Are you interested in at all playing for an org as a content creator or as a competitive player on an esports roster? Yeah, I do actually play in esports, but more so as like a sub for another team. They do play Worlds without me. But in regular tournaments, I do play with them quite often. The team's name is Coastal Tides. I'm obviously going to have to use some early totems here, right? And save a couple dragons to funnel this area so that I can hopefully get the Duke to go directly into the... Or I should say the Prince and some dragons directly into the Town Hall area. You know what would be hilarious if there was a Tesla at this bottom corner. Getting rid of that multi-archer tower is really good because it funnels the Duke to go directly to the left in the beginning. On a perfect arrow shot, picking up the Revenge Tower, the CC, and both spell towers. I'm a little worried about the fact I don't really have much good pathing into the Town Hall area. Maybe now I have it? I do, actually. So it does look like I timed everything to perfection. I'm going to use the freeze on this area over here. I can probably actually swag the freezes. It looks like the base is pretty much dismantled. Here's the orb, just for swag. Perfection. It was a cool plan, right? To get the arrow to shoot off of the builder huts. And that leaves us with only one more attack to get through. Display of Power actually lost their war today, by the way. So they will be finishing with as many as 233 stars if they triple their last hits. They won't be getting plus 10. But we will be getting plus 10. How are they treating you? They're treating me actually pretty well. But if you want to text me about all that kind of stuff, you can contact me on Discord. That's really the best place. I get notified for that on my phone that I use for Clash. I have a separate work phone now because of just how overloaded my phone gets. Legend mode, no promotion, only demoted, that's correct. Although I do think in the future there will be more than one clan demoting per group. I don't think it's always going to just be only one. Let's take a look at this last number 13 layout. My plan for this one's a little different than what I typically go for. I'm going to, like for example, when I see a base like this where you have the monolith and the multi-gear, along the axis of symmetry, I typically like to think about sending the Hydra early into the monolith, right? But the real complication with that is the fact I'd be going into both sweepers and both fire spitters. And so I kind of want to set up an entry where I can potentially go behind one of those and then control the monolith with overgrowth. The giant arrow and the backpack with the quakes will get the CC and the monolith. And then hopefully the Duke goes over to the right. I can drop him a little over to the left over here so that he gets a direct pathing to go over to the right, but the reason why I think potentially he could end up going left is because of the enemy king over here. So the Hydra definitely has to make quick work of this compartment before it moves on into this one over here. And hopefully I don't get anything leaked too far over to the side with the enemy Duke, because once he loses his Royal Rampage, that's a mistake. It's actually a mistake. But it's a pretty simple plan, so. And it's also safe for 2 stars. There's absolutely no way I can 1-star, because if I went this other way where I went directly into the monolith, then I could potentially deal with stuff going all around the town hall by following all of these buildings over here, which would obviously not be good. I could also, you know what, an interesting idea would be is to use the ice block recall to pick up the revenge tower and the cakes. But obviously with the complications of going into the sweepers and fire spitters, I don't know if that's the best idea. You can pull the king with an archer or a barb, is that true? You know what else I could pull him with is like a totem spell. And then take him out with an inferno dragon. That could totally work. A headhunter and an inferno dragon. Is that worth an extra totem? I'm not even sure. Honestly, I really do think that the queen, together with the duke and the frosty, are gonna be able to take the king down fast enough. I do think that's the case. So, with that, I think we can just go right for it. No, not worth the totem, I know, right? If the king somehow magically goes directly for my queen, then yeah, it's obviously worth the totem, right? But I don't think that should be an issue, right? Yeah, like I have a feeling the duke's not even gonna go for the enemy king. And he doesn't, which is actually perfect. He's working on his own alone at the moment with the Royal Rampage, which is really nice. And then the queen's eventually gonna go over there. Actually, I did miss the arrow, because I was meant to hit the spell towers with the arrow. So it's definitely not good that I missed that. I'm gonna send rocket loons over here to pick up the air defense as well. Now, if the queen reaches over somehow and picks up the air defense, then that is super clutch. But there's a chance she goes down, right? This might not end up working out for me because of that monolith. It's looking a little scary now. I'm just gonna revive the Duke and hope for the best. Very close, but it's a 98%. I think it's gonna end up only reaching up as far as 98%. And yeah, this approach wasn't really the best. I definitely think if I had set something up into the monolith that there could have potentially been a chance there, but this approach was technically the safer one, even if it wasn't the best. But still, decent percentage, I guess. And obviously enough to pick up the win, even though we won just like 3 attacks ago, right? 43 stars. We are going to end up 5 stars behind display power, or maybe actually up to 8. So if they end up losing another war, which they very much could, because they're going up against Cup Up Baby, then we may potentially catch them, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that is that for CWL. The cool thing now is that since it's the end of the season, I'm probably going to be doing all of my remaining season hits, so I will still be live another few hours. I'm probably going to be taking breaks here and there. If you guys have any, like for example, if you want me to do any base visits, I don't mind doing those here and there as well. Now see here, this is again where you see the monolith and the multi-gear on the opposite side, like of the axis of symmetry. And so I think I'm going to pick up the Revenge Shower and the Multi-Inferno and set up a Hydra entry to go early into the monolith. I definitely need some good free spells to manage the Rage Showers, and a good Overgrowth obviously. I do pick up the Revenge Shower, but I think I missed the Multi-Inferno. I'm not sure if I had the angle to get it though, now that I look a little more closely at that. But at least the Duke will eventually go and pick up the Inferno that I missed. There's the early orb that's really mainly to control the Logger as well. That's a swag totem, is what that is. And then the last freeze I can save for this Overgrowth area. Or maybe I can just swag it. It looks like a swag freeze, right? Long end of season stream again. Yeah, I might be doing all my hits. We'll see how long that will take me. It could take me as little as 2 hours if they all go by quickly and smoothly. But I do think I'm going to be taking breaks, so it could also take up to 3 hours. And I've already been live now for 52 minutes, so... I can also consider doing the hits later before the end of the season, like before the actual ending of the season. I would do them live. Not sure what to go for here. This base actually looks pretty good, I'll be honest. It looks like a complicated layout. Because of the sweepers. There's a couple storages that could also throw off my pathing, like right here, the couple of gold storages. But at least a concrete way to start should be picking up the Revenge Shower, right? That arrow also got one of the air defenses, which is nice. But yeah, this monolith is really gonna be a pain here. Or the sweeper as well. Sweeper together with the monolith. I'm just gonna freeze it again. And because of the positioning of these fire spitters, I'm actually getting hit by the second one pretty early, which is not ideal. I've just realized my prince didn't even follow my main army. My prince is over here helping the queen and the duke, and they don't need his help. So it's a little unfortunate, actually. There's a chance I still get it anyway. I can't go opposite to Town Hall and Legends hits. Yeah, I'm obviously risking a 1-star, right? Especially on a base that I haven't seen before. This base looks really good, actually. Why aren't you using ground attacks? I will be pretty soon. I think I'm just being a little complacent. Using the same army I've been using the past 3 months. That's the honest truth. When I see a multi and a spitter getting raged, I always end up panic freezing. I honestly meant to drop an overgrowth at one point there that didn't end up registering somehow. What should I go for here? Oh, I think I recognize his layouts. I should probably go for the CC. I can use rocket loons to snipe the monolith a little bit after the setup. Especially now that I have 8, I'm actually much happier bringing these couple of extra rocket loons. Especially for situations like this. I did miss, unfortunately, the poison tower. I'm gonna actually send my Hydra this way. I was planning to send my Hydra over on the opposite side, but my Duke went that way. So it does look like it's developing quite nicely. Hopefully the Duke can pull the poison tower so that I can put overgrowth on it. But I might also end up doing something kind of like... Yeah, I have to put the overgrowth there now. Still have a couple of freezes as well, so hopefully I can use those to get through the remaining defenses. Especially because I can use them on the scatter shots. Like so. Should be enough to take the base down. Anonymous, hey, what's going on? Good to see you. It's funny, so much planning for CWL hits, but only some seconds for rank. CWL fails, but not rank. Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? But trust me, you will see some Legend League fails, I'm pretty sure. I'm just, guess I'm doing a good job in these first few Legend hits. I got a nice defense from Itachi. So hopefully that can help me convert a decent rank. Although, to be honest with you, I'm not going to get anything as impressive as I got last season. I'm attacking well, thank you so much, I appreciate that. Can I get this army link? It's actually in the video description. Although, actually, I think the one I have in the description looks like this. And a recent change that I made, which I didn't update the description yet, is I removed 1 dragon and I added 2 rocket loons and a wizard. That is the army link. Let's keep hitting. Hopefully the triples keep rolling in. Let's see here. I notice an invis tower and as well the rage tower. Usually with this army, I like to actually send my army into the side that doesn't have the rage tower. On a base like this, where there's a rage tower on one side, but not on the other. But what I wanted to do was, let's check for a Tesla down here. There is no Tesla. Okay, I'm gonna shoot the arrow off of that elixir collector and pick up the... Actually, let me be careful because of those builders. I do get my targets nice. I got both the Revenge Shower and the CC. Does look like, unfortunately, my Prince got targeted somewhere, and he's not really in the healing tome right now. I would like for him to get inside of that, and unfortunately I did have some troops leak over to the side where the Duke is, which is actually a mistake. If they would go down quickly, that would be nice. Let's use this overgrowth now. It is a perfect overgrowth because it doesn't cover the one spitter. I'm probably going to send rocket loons way over here for that. Maybe I should have covered it. I'm going to use this freeze now, just to delay the death of the Duke as long as I can. Although I don't think it matters now. It does look like I failed this particular hit. Unfortunate, 93%, very close, but obviously a good base. Definitely a good base. I definitely wish that those air troops by the Duke just stayed with my main army. Maybe where I deployed the Hydra was not correct. I was using the same army before, but with Inferno Dragons, and it wasn't working in Legends 2. So I switched to Hydra with double overgrowth. The double overgrowth variation is still pretty strong. I see a lot of people using it on me, on defense. And it looks pretty good for them. I think I'm gonna go for something a little risky here. I'm gonna aim for the cake bombs, the multi-inferno, and the CC, and then send my army into this raid shower with the monolith. That's my plan for this particular base. I do get all of my primary targets, which is nice. Definitely need an early totem to control the air defenses. And look, the Duke is going over alone nicely. I just obviously have to be careful about that raid shower now. Does look like the Warden's going the wrong way. Almost. I did have some troops end up leaking over with the Duke. Let's try to get early raid shower activation so that I can... Yeah, the Warden really never followed my Prince. In this case, it obviously would have been better if he did. We'll see what the Queen can do, especially after the Overgrowth wakes up, because I do think she has a potential to pick up an air defense right here, which is nice. And the Prince is distracted by the enemy King, which is good because he's shooting meteors. So in this case, it does look like a swag revive. That's an easy. 3 overgrowths is also nice. I've never seen anybody using 3 overgrowths. Meteor Staff or Dark Crown on this side. You think that the Dark Crown will work better? I don't think so, personally. I do see a lot of people using the Dark Crown though. So I guess it's a matter of not only preference, but also like what you have upgraded, right? If you have the Dark Crown maxed out, you should probably use that. If you don't have the Meteor Staff maxed out. Okay, this base, this is Kronos. I wonder if this is the tribe Kronos. It might not be though. Okay, so what I'm looking for here is the funnel, right? And this is another one of those bases where you see the monolith and the multi-gear on the opposite sides of the axis of symmetry. So I will be sending my Hydra into the monolith side. And then hopefully the Duke can go and take care of the multi-gear tower pretty easily. He might need a totem, but that's fine. Because honestly, the multi-gear tower does have some decent DPS. But as long as the Duke is raised up, he will move through that area pretty quickly. This is an interesting CC choice, mass archers. I did forget to drop my Skywagon, but thankfully things are moving so smoothly that it doesn't look like an issue in this particular instance. Really surprised that my Duke is even still alive, but that does mean things went well. Swag another revive. Do you think this army will work in Legends 2? Absolutely. It's doing great work in Legends 1. I'm concerned about the Warden with the Rage Gem rather than the Eternal Tome. Yeah, you do have to have good totems and freezes so that you make up for not having the Eternal Tome. But the Rage Gem is still pretty strong, you know? The Rage Gem allows the Dragons and Dragon Riders to move through the base more quickly. And like the Dragon Riders have a lot of DPS, so when there's multiple of them stacked on top of each other along with the Rage Gem, then they can take down defenses quickly. And so with that, you get better value from the totem spells. I need this level of perfection. It's not exactly perfect, right? I did just fail a couple hits ago. This is Gaku, by the way. So it would be nice to triple just for content, right? I think I'm just gonna try to hit the cake bombs and the CC, and then followed up with a Hydra entry behind the Fire Spitter, although there is a suspiciously placed sweeper there. I do think that sweeper could be a complication for me. So let's at least start with a dragon over here to get the funnel on one side of that sweeper. Now I'm going to definitely send some rocket loons so that the Duke ultimately ends up going over to the left. I did obviously make the mistake of allowing a couple of dragons to follow my Duke, which is not ideal. Guess I can use my overgrowth soon. Maybe I can get some good value if I wait for that poison tower to throw. But I don't know. I think that might have actually been a mistake in this particular instance. Because look, I have no more army over here. Sneezy picked up the Revenge Tower, which was kind of clutch. We shall see if the Queen and the Duke can do enough to finish the base. I do think they can. They're looking pretty healthy. And I also have the Phoenix on standby. The Queen ran into a bunch of traps though. Would be really unfortunate if this does not end up making it through, but I do think it does. And it does. Very nice. 200th version of this base, do you think so? To be honest, I don't recognize the layout. It looks like it was built from scratch. but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you are right that there have been many other variations of that particular layout. Hi bro, what's your in-game name? GE Doom? Yes, I have 6 accounts: Fear, Chaos Havoc, Rage Death, and Doom. It was Gaku's base. It was literally Gaku. It was the man himself. And unfortunately, I don't have his rank at the moment. He's definitely fighting somewhere close in the top 200. Smile a bit? I'll try. I'll definitely try. I don't want to look too depressed. But yeah, there's not much to smile about unless I get 320 or 45 stars in CWL. First glance, it looked like nah, it wasn't that Rapata base. I wasn't. Oh, you know what this is? I hit this in CWL. This is that base I hit in CWL. Except it's rotated. I do get all the value there from the setup. This is I remember having this issue where the Duke ended up following the Ricochet. And now this time he goes into the Revenge Tower together with the Queen, but unfortunately he also goes in together with a couple dragons, a couple Dragon Riders, so I'm losing the Royal Rampage just briefly. Oh, this is not good. How this is played out. Obviously the logger has finished me. Yeah, I think I got crushed here. Unfortunate. It happens. That is the difficulty of Legends 1, is that you can end up failing some bases you've seen before. I think I'm going to revive the Prince just for the sake of percentage, because I don't think that the Queen and the Duke will do anything decent in this top area with the Monolith. Logger fried you? Yeah, I think so too. He definitely did some damage. So if the Prince can at least grab the Fire Spitter for an extra %, then that's alright. So I think I got 290 something, 295. That's what I think this is. Lots of hits today. Yeah, I have hits today just to make it through the end of the season. 40 more attacks. I'm currently global rank 128 on this account, but that's obviously superficial because I'm waiting on defenses. So 297 is not bad. 310 yesterday on this account. So for the last couple of days, I do think I did pretty okay on this account. This is Fear. Let's switch over next to Rage. Stay serious, you laughed and failed. That's actually hilarious because you were the one telling me to smile a bit. And as soon as I changed up my mood, I failed. I'm gonna blame you on that. Do you always go for CC or max value available? Nah, I like to go for value plus funnel. Like you have to get a balance of both. Itsu just failed on my base in CWL. That's awesome. That's actually awesome. Here is Pastel, a very high ranked player using a very common layout. I should be able to crush this. I did get my primary targets there with the arrow very nicely. On this particular layout, it's actually very difficult to prevent the dragons from joining the Duke. So I don't actually feel too bad that that's happened. Gonna use the orb there to try to support the Prince a little more. this Dragon Rider is actually preventing the Duke from surviving this fight between himself and the enemy queen, which is really unfortunate. Also kind of RNG just from where I place him. Let's revive the Duke. I do normally swag a revive here, but in this case I just want to get the base finished. You've still been practicing bowlers? Not really, I'll be honest. I plan to start using those sometime very close to the start of the season, the upcoming season. Okay. There are how many minutes left? 36 minutes left until the start of day 6. This layout, I did see this in CWL. This one was pretty simple actually. I'm gonna drop a archer here to hopefully pull a Tesla that's usually in that corner. It is this time, of course. To get all of my primary targets there with the giant arrow backpack. And yeah, this is always what confuses me, is how sometimes the king gets like a perfect RNG and immediately targets my queen to use a totem to stop him there. This might not be going as smoothly as I initially hoped. That orb wasn't the best. It was kind of a panic orb. Uh-oh. I'm really about to fail this easy base. Man. Unfortunately, the Duke does not go where I want, and so yeah, this is going to be a 1-star. I thought the Duke was going to go over to the Revenge Tower. Force quit that, because that's just terrible, what I've just done. Will you use backpack throwers or super bowlers? Probably both. I definitely want to try and use both there. I did get a nice -20, which makes the 1-star a little less painful. But obviously not good. Yeah, it's another common layout here. Can use a poison here since I eliminated the CC already, but I'm also going to use another totem. I wonder if I'll get the pathing into the this rage tower here that I was looking for. I did get some things to work out over here though. Do you think that the rest of my spells here are swag? I guess you're a human after all, yeah. To be honest with you, I'm a little more human this season. Definitely feeling more than I was in the previous season. Overall. That was a terrible freeze, by the way, but Obviously, it doesn't matter. It might as well have been swag. The new Duke skin looks interesting to say the least. I think it's pretty cool. Let's take a look. The Draken Duke. It's pretty cool. He kind of has the build of the king now. When you look at like the way he stands, his muscles and all. Like not exactly like the Duke. That's a little chubby, right? That we all know and love. I guess an event started, is that right? Or Mass Troop and Super Troop. Looks like we can, in regular battle mode, use a bunch of... Let's just go in here real quick and check it out. These are the new Elephant Riders. Let's just see what they do here. And let's force quit, just to see how long that takes. King with wings, yeah, that's right. It takes 42 seconds to clear out a base with just that spam. I imagine for most bases it's going to be like that, because the Elephant Riders tend to ignore the walls, right? Not necessarily ignore them as much as just obliterate them. Did get all of my targets there, very nice. I'm going to use an early totem here to control those enemy heroes. Thankfully none of my Hydra ended up following my Duke, which is actually pretty nice. It was just a couple rocket ones, but obviously those are gonna go down anyway. Let's try to use an early overgrowth over here this time, as opposed to what I did on the previous attempt on this layout. There is the Dark Orb. And I think I have a swag revive here. With the force I have left, including the Phoenix, should be able to take down the rest of the base. Isn't this basically the same base you hit that had that gold storage in the middle? Yeah, it is actually. I guess he swapped the CC and the K-Capult for gold storages so that there wasn't so much backpack value. But I tripled that one anyway. Yeah, the gold storage is right here, right? Got swapped with the CC and the K-Capults. Bro, you got 99%. It happens, bro. You had 3 spectating and you got a 99%. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Oh, I hate this layout. I'll be honest, I never really found a good way to triple this one. Actually, I think this one looks a little different from the one I'm currently thinking of. This one might be easier. I have 2 options for overgrowth. I can either use them over the Revenge Tower together with the Monolith, or I can use them like over here to cover off this Fire Spitter, or maybe some of these defenses over here. I guess we'll see which way my army goes, right? I dropped 2 quakes over the poison spell tower and 1 quake over the multi-gear tower. That's how that setup ended up working out. Does actually look pretty smooth so far. I think I am going to use overgrowth like over here. There's the orb, although I probably needed to use some kind of an angle that could also hit the revenge shower. Well, the good news is that this indeed is looking pretty overwhelmed. Should be 3 stars. Hope your CWL hits went well, at least they did. And my, whatchamacallit? My clanmates did a great job today as well. AJ, hey, what's going on? It's good to see you, bro. You are a little late to the stream, but it's fine. If you want to see, like, the legend CWL hits, then you can go over onto the YouTube side. Just in case you came to vicariously experience legend CWL. I saw your tweet about how your clan got cock blocked out of CWL because of the uneven number of clans. Hell no, what does this look to a farm attack? Yeah. Oh my, please no, don't remind me of that. Yeah, I did check this out. Let's just spam this real quick, and then spam the Super Valks, and spam this, and then force quit, and see how long that takes. I bet it's gonna take under 60 seconds. It does take right around 60 seconds, actually, just to destroy the base. Yeah, totally balanced troop. I think the biggest thing is that there's too many of them. Having 50 elephant riders is a little ridiculous. Spam them all around the base. You might be right. That would be a little quicker. I hope it is 50 space. Yeah, it should be a decent amount because their HP is crazy. They have a lot of HP. So how on earth does... I'm so confused by that. I'm wondering how the king always gets a perfect thing into the enemy, or into my queen. And so now I definitely need to use something which can control the logger. But I have a couple of dragons actually over in the town hall area, which is decent. It's actually going to end up working out for me this time. I'm just going to spam all my rocket loons over here. Revive the Duke. Look how crushed this is. And then look at the first attempt, where I did a 1-star. You know? I just really let Logger do too much to me, I think. You're destroying in 25-30, yeah, that makes sense. Do you have any say or push for me next season? I do know a guy that's doing end of season. So if you currently have a decent rank, then you should hit me up on Discord. This is the exact same base I just obliterated. But yeah, in this case, the enemy king ended up directly targeting my queen, even though the Frosty and the Giant are in front. I'm not exactly sure why that's happening. This base again. Although this one does look pretty easy to manage. I think the first thing I'm going to do is take this archer tower out. I was really hoping that, yeah, I was gonna say I was hoping that the Duke would go left, or to the right, and not left, but he does end up going to the right, which is nice for me. Gonna have to use poison on all those headhunters. Let's use overgrowth like so. The giant pulls the poison, which is awesome. That was such a waste. Yeah, as long as Logger goes down, this is an easy triple. I even have the Phoenix, and the Duke is hanging on. He's not exactly healthy, but I do think he will eventually go and help finish the base. Okay, one more attack. Have you claimed the free RC skin? I have indeed. Had some work, now I'm free, that's pretty cool. You're always welcome to prioritize work, bro, you know? You don't have to worry about having a perfect attendance on my streams. One thing I'm really concerned about on this base are the sweepers, because they're both facing rage shower compartments, which can be a little scary, but they're actually pretty far from those compartments, so maybe I can still think about setting up an entry to go behind the fire spitters into the sweepers. But I also don't really want to end up doing any 1-stars. Show you what I'm going for here. I am ultimately going to go behind the sweepers. I'm going to save my poison spell because typically I would use it on the Guardian, but obviously that's when I eliminate the CC, right? With the setup. I haven't done that in this particular instance, so I'll save the poison for that. Or should I use overgrowth? I think here is fine. Not the smoothest hit, I guess, but I guess it's safe. Considering the other approach I was opting for was a potential for a 1-star, right? Let's see if... I have a feeling with the remaining freezes I have that I could potentially pick up the most of the rest of the base. As long as I get through the air defense. That was a terrible freeze. That was better, but I don't know if it was enough. Not quite. Let's just go for percentage. You did your CWL fast today, did I? I kind of did, actually, you're right. Normally it takes me about an hour to get through. So what is that? I think that's a 280. Not ideal. I obviously want 300 or better on the final day of the season. And what kind of a rank do I think I'm going to get? I think it's just going to be in the top 1,000. Nothing special. At least compared to last season. Top 1,000 is obviously pretty good, but it's not top 200 or top 100 or anything. The cake kill your army, you think so? You might be right, actually. Did Stars finally get dethroned? To be honest with you, I think he's been struggling this season. I think that he was seriously going for a push. There was somebody in one of my previous streams that was basically saying that Stars didn't go for a serious push because of the fact that now all 6 of his accounts have a rank 1 finish. But I don't know, I still think he was giving it the beans, you know? Swabies, thanks for the follow, I appreciate that. I think I'm gonna play it safe here and start near the town hall. Obviously can't let any 1-star happen. I do hope that the queen can ultimately pick up the town hall. I'll assist her with as many totems and rocket loons as I need to make that happen. Unfortunately, the prince decided to follow my queen. Not ideal. But there's still some chances, right? The prince stays alive, which is awesome because he has obviously those meteors, which is a passive. And the phoenix as well. Might end up being close if this does ultimately go through. Oh, there's the orb, I guess it's swag. Yeah, very close, but no cigar. Obviously, the prince was supposed to follow my army. How many max accounts do you have? 6? I'm pushing 6 on the leaderboard. Where's Stars finishing? Still in the top 10, but I think it's really going to be like rank 3 or 2 or 3 or 5 or something like that. Definitely not rank 1. Okay, let's continue here. GJ. I wonder if this is the same GJ that occasionally watches my streams. This is definitely an interesting layout from GJ. I might want to set up a... you know what this kind of looks like? It's almost like the Repotted base. Almost. It's a little different, obviously, but... like, I could get the Revenge Tower, which I suppose is not the worst value. But it's not the greatest either. I guess I'm gonna go for it. And then send my army into here. Nice traps, bro. Let's use this overgrowth now. Really wish that the prince or something would secure the long shot. You know, maybe the strength of the Duke post-revive will be enough to finish this base. Otherwise, I 1-star. But the Phoenix is going to pick up the long shot finally. Finally, the Prince picks up the long shot. He only put out like 5 videos this season. You know, I think that it's because he was struggling. I think he might have been struggling. And Monkey D. Luffy, hey, what's going on? Good to see you again. Rip his streak, I know, right? Because he's definitely going to make a post about it, I'm sure. And talk about how it was probably his worst season or whatever. You know, and obviously it's kind of hilarious when somebody that finishes rank 2, 3, 4, and 5 ends up talking about how it was their worst season. I mean, if you're finishing anywhere in the top 100, you did have a serious push, you're absolutely right. How long did it take to get the max, or did you get them a different way? I did spend many years on these. Took many years. I've been pushing since Town Hall 15, actually. The Legend League leaderboard. But I've only been streaming about a year. So as far back as you can go into my channel is only like mid Town Hall 17. Let's see if there's a Tesla up here. Unfortunately, there isn't. So I wonder if the arrow can still hit both the Monolith and the Revenge Tower. I think they can. I'm obviously going to have to be careful about the approach and make sure that I don't have any dragons leaking over to the right. And thankfully I did get all my targets there. I say all, but obviously it was only those 2. Uh-oh, this healing tome, now that I see it, is maybe a little early. The healing tome probably should have been used over at the poison tower. Not the smoothest hit, I'll be honest. I guess I'm ultimately going to pick up the thing that matters the most, which is the Town Hall. But yeah, this could have gone better in a lot of ways, obviously. Look at that pathetic freeze. %. What was your best finish in the Legend since Town Hall 15? In the Legacy, I got rank 202 with Rage. And this was actually in the very last season before we got the new Legend system. The new rank system, I should say. Right before we got modifiers, that 202 was my best result in the Legacy results. But overall, my best result is this 56th place that I got actually just in this previous season. That's my best result. The first time I reached Legend, I was at Town Hall 11 when the max Town Hall was 13. That's crazy. Oh, well, that was back when you only had to get like 5,000 trophies, right? Who's number 1? Let's take a look. Yata is number 1. And Insight Stress, hey, what's going on? It's good to see you. Bowlers ruled the season? I don't know. We'll see who rank 1 ends up being. But Yata obviously did a great job to end up this high so consistently on the leaderboard. I'm a little concerned about the logger here. He does need to go down hopefully soon. Looks like my Warren got sniped. Yeah, this one also didn't end up as smooth as I initially hoped. We will see if I can still take it down. I think I can come somewhat close. Let's just freeze there to try to keep the Duke alive just a little longer. If the Prince can take down the Monolith, maybe he won't, obviously because of all that HP in that area. Then I would have a chance to take this down, but these storages are gonna ultimately stop the Prince from taking down the Monolith. I probably should have invested some spells earlier while I still had some troops alive over to potentially get the Monolith. Stars, as always, will end up number 1. Yeah, if Xian throws today, then potentially that can happen, but I don't think that is the case this season. 96%, very close. Obviously, losing the Warden early like that was not good. How do you manage these mini hits while working? I usually do them like throughout the day, or like at the end of the day. When is the next COT? It'll be after this week. And it's actually going to have a pretty big prize pool. What do you think about space management when Town Hall reaches to probably 25 plus? Will the game become stagnant? What they're discussing is potentially combining Town Hall levels. I don't love that idea, but that is what they're trying to consider. Looks like my Duke is leaking over to the left with my army. It's not the worst thing, but it's still not great. Especially if the Warden ends up following the Duke to the wrong side of the base. I think we can use Overgrowth here. It's just slightly tweaked, isn't it? I can recognize that this is not exactly original. So definitely did a good job against me this base. Hopefully that's enough. It looks like enough. How many accounts do you have in Legends? 6 of my accounts are all in Legends 1. And mostly in the top 1000. Mostly. This account reset rank 907. Even after minus 18. What work do you do? I sell shows. So if you're like a performer, then my job is to find you a place to perform. This space, I typically see this where the CC is in the center, but in this case he has opted to put the catapults in the center. I do think in this case it might make sense to pick up the catapults and then just snipe the monolith with rocket launchers and a totem maybe. This should work right. And if I get a perfect arrow, then I will pick up the poison tower as well. And I do very nice. I'm gonna have to use another totem for the monolith, which is not ideal. But that, oh, I swagged that poison. Unfortunately. There's a nice orb. What do you think, guys? I think this is looking pretty smooth. Probably going to swag the remaining spells. Especially because the Prince has the Phoenix attached. And always does a great job with the Phoenix. Looks like day 6 has begun finally. We can take a quick look over at the bases that these guys are running. This is Jaga, by the way. He's a pro player, and I think he used to play for Carry Esports at some point. Oh, I know who has this base. That coffee is never ending. You've had it for about an hour. I just finished it. And yeah, I've had it actually since the beginning of the stream. These hits I will do tomorrow. That's my plan. I'll still do them on a stream. So you guys will definitely have a chance to see that. They're just running common Legends layouts. This one is definitely one I should probably pick up. This is unique. This particular layout. You could probably set up a nice backpack to pick up like this fire spitter here. Maybe a Hydra entry into the monolith, potentially. Or you could even try to pick up this Revenge Tower, maybe. Along with, obviously, the Spell Tower. to try to set up a Hydra entry to go behind this Fire Spitter. This is probably the only tricky looking base, but I think it's because it's a custom made or something. I don't actually recognize that layout. I think you have to hit the number 8 base on a stream today. You might be right. You might be right. Okay, let's keep hitting. He hit me yesterday and actually ended up failing. I can show you how that ended up playing out, but hopefully that replay is still there, because there's always a chance, right, that the replay goes invalid. Let's see if there's a Tesla. There is not in this particular instance. I think I'm going to use Overgrowth over here and then a Freeze just to control all of that remaining damage in that particular spot of the base where I have my setup. This is looking pretty smooth so far. Still a couple of air defenses which could potentially pick off all my air troops. I definitely should have used a totem there for the queen. There's the orb finally. And I will revive the Duke once there are no more remaining air troops over where he is. You've added some new music to the playlist. Yes, you're right about that. Actually, the playlist is longer than you think. It's got like 1,000,000 tracks. And so sometimes I scroll a little further where I start the playlist. The music is definitely a little different, but I think it's because it's AI generated that it has a little bit of a quirky vibe. This army is OP, no time fail. Yeah, you're right about it not having any time fails. That's one of the big reasons why I like this army a lot. Definitely no time fails. I think I got both spell towers with that, which is actually really nice. This should be a swag revive at least. Like I might use the last freeze just to, yeah, maybe not. Swag freeze too. Nice and easy. How many bases do you play and are all of them in Legends? Yes, I do play on 6 accounts. And all 6 of them are in Legends 1. And they've never been in Legends 2 either. Ever since Legend League got split into 3, I've been in Legends 1 the whole time. $291, which it's decent. I'm still not really hitting 300 or better. It's tough. I mean, the bases are obviously very good. Let's see which accounts I have remaining. There's still 3 more to hit. Let's switch over to Chaos. What do you normally get on defense? My defense average is somewhere around 270 when you look at the full season. Bye, bro. Gotta go. That's all good. I appreciate you hanging out. Yeah, I noticed that A Must Be God does like this particular layout for himself. He always starts on the opposite side of the town hall, but for his army, actually, it's not as risky as you might think. I'm pretty sure he's going to hit the Revenge Tower and the Multi-Inferno in the setup, and then just follow it up with throwers. The throwers have a pretty easy pathing to go into the town hall. That's insane. 6 accounts, Legends 1. You think so? I have a feeling that if I ever demoted to Legends 2, that I wouldn't be able to immediately get back into Legends 1, though. Because of the fact that only 3 players end up promoting each time, you know? They should definitely increase that. This looks very similar to the base I just attacked, although I don't know if I want to get the Revenge Tower or the Monolith. The big issue is the builders. I have a feeling it's just better to try to get the Revenge Tower for the funnel, but it's going to be also pretty difficult to direct some rocket loons to pick up the Monolith. So I might end up wasting totems there. Let's just go for the Revenge Tower. I'm going to stick with my gut. The CC doesn't look too threatening for me. It's just probably some ice golems. Well, a hound does pop out, which is actually quite interesting. But I think I'm going to use the poison over the Logger Guardian instead. Does seem like better value. Hopefully I haven't screwed this up. Let's revive the Duke here, and then I think I'm going to use the freeze to cover off that air defense. Although the air defense might not even be an issue because of the Phoenix. Swag a freeze. How do you think they could fix the Legends 2 system? You could definitely allow more players to promote, because all that means for Legends 1 is the fact that there will be like initially some more players in Legends 1, but if you have the same players promoting and demoting in and out of, like, in between Legends 1 and 2 every week, then it shouldn't be too big of an issue to allow more players to promote. I think that's the easiest fix. You could probably also make some other changes with the balancing of the trophies between offense and defense, but that's a little controversial, isn't it? This looks like almost the same base I just attacked, isn't it? Except for the fact that there's the candle in this particular instance. I guess one kind of a funny thing I could do is just let the attack timer run out a little bit. Or maybe use a baby dragon, right? Because the candle activates when the first building is destroyed, right? So now I'm just going to just hold off for a little bit. I'll wait until there's about 2 minutes and 20 or 15 seconds left before I continue the rest. Do you think I got the split I was looking for? Which is nice. Except for the fact that some ice golems have came out. I was thinking I could pick off the Invis Tower, but that's not the case here. I did get a good positioning for the orb here, so that should help. Wow, this one fell apart. I'm just gonna be happy that the prince is secure in the town hall. Very close. Very unfortunate because I literally just destroyed the same base. But that is the difficulty of Legends 1. The queen definitely should have gone off with the duke. Shirag, you gotta go, that's all good. 10k in Legends 1 is less, in my opinion, or rather 2.5k buffer. Not exactly sure what you mean by that. You need me after the stream, that's all good. You should probably make an esports lineup of yours. I have been trying to, but I don't think I have teammates that are up to the level of esports. Enough teammates, I should say, because you want to obviously have 5, right, to complete the team, but then you also want to have some extras who can fill in for people that won't make some of the matches, and that's not so easy. I think it's pretty obvious what I need to go for here. I'm going to start with this. And that is a nice setup. I do get all of my primary targets that were all compact in the core there. Hopefully the Duke can go and pick up the poison tower. But even if he doesn't, it's fine. I was just thinking that the... Well, now this is very interesting. The prince is the only one over by the town hall, which is obviously not a bad thing, but I do need to support him properly with spells, or else obviously the town hall will be an issue. That orb was forced, so I didn't press that. Still an easy base rate. And yeah, by the way, it's actually pretty difficult to make content out of esports because of the fact that many tournaments oftentimes don't let streamers actually participate in the matches. Like, you can't stream the matches that you're playing in. I don't know why that's a rule, but it is a rule for a lot of different tournaments. I guess it's something to do with fair play, but I don't see how you could abuse fair play by streaming your own match. The best way I could make content out of esports is by recording it and then making like voiceovers. I just don't really have that ton of spare time. This base looks a little tricky. I'm going to try to see if I can pick up the monolith together with the catapult and then set up the Duke to go into the revenge tower. I think that that makes sense for this particular layout. The nice thing is that the backpack will also be lined up to hit the sweeper facing my army. So let's just go for this. You can see how I set the funnel there with the setup quite nicely. I'm going to use an early freeze to cover the There's the orb. It's not the best orb, I'll be honest. I wish that the orb ended up covering the multi-inferno over here that's rage up. This might not end up working out for me. This base looks good though. But another big mistake was that I had some air troops leak over to where my Duke was, which is never good. Especially with that funnel that I set. Wiz, hey, what's going on? Good to see you. Yo, leader, what's going on? Yeah, not much. Just finishing up my end of season. Let's revive the Prince. I do think he has the best potential for some extra percent. Although I thought he was going to the mortar, so that ended up being a waste. We can force quit that. I think I got like 80 something, 85 or something with that. 83. Let's see if we have any defense yet. Not quite. These players are definitely good, like Frosty here, Frosty Louis, and Xiaga and Pikachu. Those are definitely some high rank players. Tian. This guy has a previous rank of 87th and a legacy best 67th on this account. Pikachu also has a legacy 37th and 286. Lots of high rank players. Okay, this layout, this reminds me of the one I attacked in CWL. One of them anyway. I do think I can get some good freezes. So let's start with the dragon over here. To get some good value there, although I did miss the monolith. I'm not sure I had the angle to pick up the monolith, but it's not a huge deal. I was planning to freeze it anyway. Like now. And then here I can freeze the Guardian together with the Raged Up Multi-Inferno, which is nice. And one of the Dragon Riders eventually leaks over to my Duke, which is not ideal. I also have the Dark Worm, which can do a great job of containing that overgrowth area. Not that it matters, really. I have a feeling it might end up being some kind of swag. Like I have a extra revive spell, so. I would like to see you in the top 10 one day. I'm definitely doing my best, although I don't think that this season I could have done it with this strategy. I feel like this season I needed to use some different strategy. You have that Invis base, this one with the, I'll show you. We do have defense, live defense. Let's take a look at it. This is TJGG hitting me with the Queen Charge Super Bowlers. I think I have Ice Golems in the CC. So hopefully those can stall him up. Although he might be able to get an early pull with the Queen. We shall see. I don't know where the Tornado Trap is on this particular layout. Yeah, so he pulls the CC troops. He used something. I think he used the Super Wall Breakers to pull the CC. But he does handle the CC, actually without even bringing in a poison spell. That first Valkyrie clearing the skeletons did a good job. Yeah, Dhoom can do this easily, sure. I definitely need better offense. He did make the mistake of sending the Super Wall Breaker directly into the Logger. And he does have the Troop Launcher. And really, I think the biggest issue of using the Troop Launcher in this particular strategy is the fact that sometimes the barrels can be thrown in the wrong direction. Like that first barrel did end up going over to the King. At least with the Skywagon, you can pretty easily control where it goes. This is looking relatively smooth. He lost his mini warden a little early, which is why his army doesn't look like crazy overwhelming. But obviously he did manage to get the bowlers to make it through to the last layer, which is always the goal with the heroic torch. Very nice attack, actually. GG to TJGG. I'm quickly promoting one of my clanmates. 3 hits left here. Hopefully I can triple those. And then after that, I still have another 16 hits to get through. The space looks familiar. Yeah, this one's pretty common. What I typically go for here is to hit the cakes. And it's interesting how this cake-a-pult kind of changes the setup for me a little bit, because normally I would just use one quake on it. In this case, I am going to use one quake on it because the HP module is under leveled, but normally that's a lava launcher. So this is what my setup looks like. I dropped that third quake over the Inferno. Oh, I actually didn't drop the third quake. I thought I did. Bit of a blunder there. And as long as I get a good overgrowth here, I think I should be good to go. I'm probably just going to cover the entire ray shower compartment with the overgrowth. Now, as long as the logger goes down quickly, which he does, it should be a pretty easy triple, hopefully. I think I'm gonna wait at least for one more fire spitter. And then revive the Duke. Another easy hit. Obviously a base I've seen before. So that's how I was so confident in that approach. Okay, let's continue here. This is that layout we've seen quite a bit. I'm going to hold the healing tome for the poison tower. I do think that the poison tower could potentially be an issue. And you know what else could be an issue as well are the builders, so maybe I do need to time this where the Duke goes first. Like this. And then the quakes. And I just have to remember, obviously, not to use the healing tome until a little later in the hit. Just like now. Nah, not ideal. Well, now something definitely needs to hopefully reach over and pick up the tunnel hole. I feel like I failed with a similar approach earlier, so maybe the next time I see this base I should try to go for something that starts over on the town hall side. That way I'm not risking a 1-star so much with the backside invis tower. Alright bro, good night. Held on as long as I could, that's all good. This is definitely gonna be a bit of a longer stream, so I appreciate you hanging out for this long anyway. It's pretty cool. I'm giving one of my clanmates a quick promotion. We can watch this live defense in the meantime. Try to see if I can get a result on this account. I do think that I'm really aiming for top 500 rather than top 200. The healers are not really doing him any favors. Yeah, he probably secures the Town Hall here, but I don't know if he'll secure 3 stars without having the healers over where his main force is. Definitely a nice defense. Oh, maybe not. Wow. Managed to hold it together. And Klaus attacked me as well. Klaus from July. Looks like Klaus is also using Queen Charge into Super Bowlers. He does get a nice pathing directly into the Longshot Guardian. Yeah, definitely a nice setup. Maybe this base was too easy for the end of the season. Maybe it was. This is Ryuta. I'm gonna be aiming for the Revenge Shower here. I just tripled this, so I do think that this should work just fine. Despite all those traps, right? Unfortunately, a dragon leaked over to where my Duke is, so definitely losing some value there. Does look like I took this base down pretty easily. Another easy triple. And that is it for this account, 282. So it looks like my average today is somewhere around 285 so far, after 4 accounts finished. I do have 2 more to get through. I will be getting through those on the stream. So it's probably going to be another almost 45 to 60 minutes of attacking. Switch over to Death. So far, some decent defense. Hopefully that can continue. Victor Empire, hey, what's going on? Your account has been cooked. That's unfortunate. I'm assuming that means you picked up a ban of some kind. I'm sorry to hear that. Which one is your main account? That's a good question because, I mean, they're all really about the same. In terms of, like, progression. I guess you can consider Dhoom to be my main, since that's the name I go by amongst all my clanmates. How's Nane here? Yeah, your account did get cooked. That's really unfortunate. I remember you telling me about your situation. Okay, this space. I want to see if there's a arrow shot that I could pick up that goes through the Revenge Shower and the Multi-Inferno in the core. And I'm definitely going to send my Hydra to go into the Monolith early as well. So let's start with like a baby dragon here. And maybe a wizard here. Oh, there's a Tesla. That's actually fabulous. The Tesla makes things a little easier for me. I will be using my free spells to control the damage, especially near the Ray Shower. Like probably one right here. Oh, well, that's terrible. It covers neither of those defenses. It's not what I thought. And I do think I have this base pretty easily under control. The Prince with the Phoenix is gonna do a great job. Picking up some extra value before he goes down. The Elephant Rider looks broken. Yeah, I think really right now it looks especially broken because of the fact that there's 50 of them available to use. Which one has your all favorite skins and sceneries? That's a good question. The most recent set that we had with the Barbarian Odyssey, I thought that one was pretty cool. I'll show you. This one, I thought this was pretty cool. I do like to use the League King's Hen instead of the Zeus King. This green is nice. It's like a deep green rather than like the bright village green that we're used to seeing. The Elephant Rider looks broken. Do you think so? Let's just mess around with it. Just because it's being mentioned. I think people are rating it too highly at the moment because of the fact that there's 50 of them. They're definitely going to have some decent housing space. It's pretty crazy how quickly the base went down though. Like in 30 seconds. It's pretty cool. The Super Valkyries aren't doing much, right? Because there's just so much DPS. Okay. Now this layout, we did see this layout, right? Once already. I did get all of my primary targets there, which is nice. I'll use an early totem to control the prince and the king, just to assist the queen a little bit. This one's going to be an easy triple, I think. It's a forced orb, but it doesn't even matter in the end. It really doesn't. Swag a freeze and a revive. Thoughts on RC instead of the Prince? That's a good question. I think that the RC would probably need some kind of a broken equipment, because the Dark Orb is really tough to pass up on. Looks like we're not getting much defense so far. So hopefully the defense will wake up at some point. If Elephant Rider comes to the game, it will be like Meteor Golem when they came. You think so? I think you might be right, actually. That does sound like a pretty accurate statement. Okay. It's not actually what I wanted, but I think it'll do. Do I pick up the poison tower? I do. Very nice. So hopefully the dude goes over to the left, which he is at the moment, but I also need to do my due diligence to make sure he doesn't eventually end up going to the right. Let's use the overgrowth over here. This is looking like yet another easy triple. With a swag revive. Hopefully. I've just realized that nothing really made it through the town hall properly, but the town hall did go down. Well, Elephant Rider will not be permanent. It's an event troop. We do have an update coming this month. So can you imagine that we'll get some kind of a barracks upgrade in that update? Can you imagine? But good to know that we can't use it for ranked or CWL, as you mentioned. That was a pain in the butt, was when they allowed for event troops to be used in CWL at one point, right? It was actually so ridiculous. Let's see if I can position a baby dragon in such a way that it can take out the mortar without pulling the prince, because I think it's possible, but it might not be this case. In this case, there's Teslas anyway. Actually, the Teslas are good for me. I can use those to my advantage. Oh, nice. I completely missed the arrow there. That's obviously unfortunate. Hopefully if I can get this funnel fixed, that it actually won't end up being an issue in the end. Let's use the overgrowth now, just as an attempt to recover this. Yeah, this is not looking too hot. That arrow miss is so just actually terrible. The queen ended up shooting the wrong Tesla. But the prince is definitely going to pick up the town hall, right, with the phoenix. So I don't have to worry about that. Let's just revive the duke and then send this last minion. 77%. I don't think it matches the theme of Town Hall 19, so unlikely. You think so? They specifically mentioned that would be an event trip. You're probably right. I don't remember stuff like that. %. Sure they can change their mind? Yeah, I don't know. The mechanic is a little too similar to the Root Rider and the Valkyrie, right? So maybe they would prefer to just leave it as an adventure. The warden's not following my prince. Although he may soon, but I'm not so sure. Wish he was a little more direct. Definitely not the smoothest hit. Yeah, this air defense is going to be what finishes me in the end. Which is crazy, actually. Considering how it's just such a weak defense on the HP side of things. But there's so much surrounding HP, like a couple of storages and the double ricochet. If this air defense was gone, then I could maybe triple this. But obviously not. Nice defense. Bro, how to master arrow? I sometimes miss the target. Can you guide me? It definitely is a matter of practice. It's not so much a matter of... I mean, I guess you could say skill, but really the skill is just doing it again and again. Let's see if these Teslas are here this time. They are. So this time I will hit this base without missing the arrow. The prince, man. The prince is going the wrong way. Well, now he goes back, which is good. Looks like I crushed this base on this particular attempt. Hopefully I can swag this revive spell. Guts, hey, what's going on? It's good to see you, bro. Warrior, by the way, one good exercise you can do to practice the giant arrow is to practice in friendly challenges like this by hitting 2x2 buildings like this. For example, aiming for this builder hut or the sweeper, the further the better. So for example, from this elixir collector, you would try to hit the sweeper. Let's see if I can do that. And it's tricky because when I zoom all the way out where I can line up a shot between both of them, the spot where I need to drop my queen is obviously in the middle of my deployment bar. So I do need to zoom in, and I can't even see the sweeper at this point, right? So let's see if I can hit that. Yeah, I missed the sweeper. That's really the best way to practice the arrow. It's like playing pool almost. You have to line up the shots. Do you play any mobile or PC games other than Clash? I play Rocket League. That's the only other game I play. Rocket League is the only other game I actually find somewhat entertaining. Try to get 2 more triples, and then after this I have 8 hits, and then I'm done with attacks for the season. Space does look quite interesting. There's a max K-Bolt, which I'm assuming was upgraded due to being involved in esports. This track is really quite interesting. Not exactly lo-fi, right? It's actually pretty hype, I'll be honest. I think what I'm going to do is actually go for a safer approach rather than trying to line something up behind the fire spitters. I'm just going to go for a safe town hall approach here. Wow, my Warren got sniped. Should I revive him? I have a feeling I should. Although maybe it was the wrong choice. This was technically the safer approach, so that's why I went for this. But obviously it's not working out. I didn't want to risk any 1-star. Yeah, I don't think I have this one. I guess I'll just freeze the monolith once my prince gets close. Like so. Very close, but no cigar. I'm gonna be able to pick up 1 more %. And that's it. Same thing happens to me, bro. I get close target mostly, but fumbles and zooming in, zooming out. Yeah, that's the... especially if you're playing on mobile, the issue is much worse for you. I have an iPad, which helps. Hopefully 1 more triple. This base, I don't actually recognize this layout. Looks quite interesting. Although I do see a good way to pick up 1 of those poison towers. I guess this approach is risky in terms of the fact that I'll be starting on the opposite side of the town hall, but I do have good faith that this will end up working. Especially because I get a perfectly straight arrow shot. Overall, pretty nice funnel set. I just hope eventually I can get something which can pick up the fire spitter. It's gonna be the queen, which is obviously good. There's the orb. It's really meant to just stop skeletons is all that is. Hopefully I have this under control. Looking pretty strong. A swag freeze is what that is, pretty much. This was a 3 if the warden didn't die. Yeah, maybe it was. Maybe it was. You might be right about that. But it's still 285. That's kind of what my average has been today so far across all of my accounts. And which one is my last one? It is, I was gonna say Rage, but it's not. It's Dhoom. I should probably convert some of these resources, right? I would use the prospector, but my ores are full. Do any of you guys have that issue? Where there's just not enough equipments? I have a feeling if you guys have been playing since the beginning of equipments, you would be somewhere in the same spot as me. I didn't really spend much money on ores other than event passes. Event passes do a good job of keeping you on top of the starry ores that you need. No, yeah. I feel like 99% of players are struggling on ores. Hopefully the queen can go and pick up the Logger Guardian. That would be nice. This pathing is not ideal, but most of the crazy damage on the base is gone. Gonna use my couple of freezes to control the monolith. I also have rocket loons, so can definitely take advantage of those. Hopefully this is enough. It looks pretty good, but I still need everything to collapse properly. Swag a revive spell. And 7 attacks left. Definitely feels good to be done soon. TJGG, this is my opponent. This is my opponent in CWL. I'll use the baby dragon over here to start the candle. And then I'm probably going to wait until there's about 40 seconds. Ran through on the clock before I go and complete the setup. All I'm doing right now is just waiting for the candle to melt a little bit. It's not a perfect arrow. It's pretty close, but not perfect. A better arrow would have been one that could pick up the Invis Tower. I'm worried about those troops that leaked over to the where the Duke is. Yeah, that's why. This did not go well. Hopefully the Prince together with the Phoenix can take down the Logger Guardian, because obviously the Town Hall is the last important target here. And he does go to Phoenix, right as that final log was thrown. But I think I have done enough to triple. I still obviously have the revive. I'm just going to wait until the Phoenix is a little low. And then revive. Zoro, hey, what's going on? It's good to see you, bro. I'm working on my final hits of the season. Still 6 left to get through. This base, I probably need to come up with something that deals with the sweepers properly. This song is so hype, it's not even lo-fi. To get some nice value there from the setup, but is it enough? Because I not only need the value, but I need the funnel too. So we will see if I got the funnel I needed. It's looking pretty smooth. Swag another revive. If you guys want to play a fun drinking game, you should just take a shot every time I swag a revive. I don't think any of you would make it to the end of the stream. I have to max 5 equipments. That's not so bad, actually, considering the number of equipments that we have available. I'm sure you have a lot of the most important equipments already well upgraded. Doing, say what's going on, good to see you, bro. I'd be pretty crunk 3 hits in if you did that, really? Y'all can't make it through 3 shots? That's pretty crazy. Let's get rid of this mortar here. That should hopefully set the pathing for my Duke once he ends up on the other side of the base with the backpack. Why is the king targeting my queen? Like, he doesn't target Frosty, but he targets the queen directly, which is actually insane. I definitely feel like something strange is happening there. I lost my prince to the, or I lost my warden, I should say, to the revenge shower. This one hasn't gone so smoothly. Yeah, the ability was forced there. This one's definitely falling apart. The queen's not going to be able to support me enough. She's going to walk right into a ricochet. I could definitely get percentage by reviving my Duke, but how much? Not very much. My first fail on this account is what that is. Zaki Clashing, hey, what's going on? It's good to see you, bro. with 3 shots, and I'd for sure be feeling good. Yeah, that's kind of how I am. I'm a little bit of a lightweight. And you like the grass? That's awesome. I'm a Vegas kid, so I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, alcohol is popular here as well, but I'm not much of a drinker. How many hits left? 4 hits left. And that's it for the season. This layout. This is one of our CWL opponents, so it's kind of funny that we're coming across him here. I'm pretty sure I tripled his base as well in CWL. I'll show you. Well, somehow I missed the CC. I hope that wasn't the arrow that missed it, because it might have been. But missing the CC there definitely was not good. Because now the queen's gonna pull the CC troops. Yeah, like ice golems. That's exactly what I didn't want. Nah, I used the freeze in the logger there, but I'm not sure if it was correct. So I may potentially end up failing depending on what the prince is capable of. I definitely don't want to see him go into Phoenix anytime soon. Don't even tell me it's going to be a 1-star. How hilarious would that be? I think it is. That's so unfortunate. I'm just gonna force quit that. That is a 1-star. I think it's so cool that you're not using Eternal and CWL attacks. I could never. Yeah, this strategy is still pretty strong. Let's go over to when we faced Therapy, right? That was in day 4. That was our first win of the week. Also, I watch for hours every stream. That's amazing, bro. Really appreciate that. You call me anonymous, but do you remember who I actually am? You're Jax, right? I'm pretty sure. We have texted on Discord. And it looks like I failed on this guy in CWL as well. Which is crazy because I remember that his CC was empty. I was using double overgrowth in this case because I didn't think I could line up any good giant arrow. Like the best giant arrow I could get was like hitting the CC. And so I just kind of ignored it. The poison towers did do some good damage on me and then kind of had a nasty split. I basically just used the second overgrowth to comfortably secure the town hall. Not a good attack there, but kind of unfortunate that I've just failed on him again. You mind showing Yacht does fail on you after your hits? Yeah, I can definitely show you that. That was yesterday. That wasn't today. Okay, I do think I'm going to start my Hydra over on the side that has the monolith rather than the multi-gear. And as long as I pick up this fire spitter, it should be pretty easy. Definitely going to use some rocket loons to handle the revenge shower. Or maybe the Dragon Rider can do that. And then here is this overgrowth. Looking like a pretty smooth hit. And then just revive the Duke. It's honestly a swag revive, isn't it? Because of how many troops I still have alive. Honestly, you remembering makes me like you even more. I appreciate that. Pretty easy to remember. You are in my streams quite a lot. This is Sin An that I just destroyed from Sword Assassins. And he might be participating in Champ 1 CWL, potentially. Which is definitely way below his pay grade. Like, look, he has a previous rank of 103, and he's playing in CWL without modifiers. Although I don't actually know if that's where he's playing. Just failed a ranked attack because I took a war army instead of my... Yeah, I've done that before. I've done that many times before. This layout, this looks kind of tricky. I could probably set up some kind of a giant arrow that makes it go well through the ray shower over here. And then set up a Hydra entry to go into the monolith. I do think that makes sense. I do need good freezes to control the town hall area. Let's use a couple rocket loons, or maybe I can use like a baby dragon together with one rocket loon to take down this over here. Like so. And then that sets up my giant arrow. And so hopefully that gets me the exact funnel that I'm looking for. Unfortunately, the Duke does follow my army, which is not ideal. I would prefer if he would go over and assist the queen. Can the queen pick up the revenge shower? I'm not so sure. Would be nice if she did, but it does not seem the case that she's going to do that. I'll use the last totem here. Oh, it's somehow the revenge shower did go down, which is nice. So hopefully I have the force I need to finish the base. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, not quite. And it's gonna land in the 80s, unfortunately. Bye, see you tomorrow. I appreciate you hanging out, bro. It's been a long stream. So the fact you've been around this long is much appreciated. Yeah, going for 267, I guess that's not great for the last day. Especially considering I reset out of the top 1000. This was my lowest rank reset, was 1291. And it might even be a little lower by the end of the day today, depending on the remaining defense. That 1 star I did, it was the only 1 star I've done all day. So with this, I have 2 options. I can either hit the cakes and the revenge shower to set up a cleaner entry to go behind the fire spitter, or I can hit the CC and the cakes. But that does mean I do ultimately need to pick up the Revenge Shower. I'm thinking potentially that the Giant can go and reach the Revenge Shower. Let's check for a Tesla. I don't think there's a Tesla, but in case there is, yeah, there's not. Yeah, I think getting the CC is favorable in this case because I can also pick up that Multi-Inferno. Just like that. And I'm setting my Hydra into the opposite side of the Duke. That's the idea there. The Duke dies, unfortunately. That's obviously not ideal. This one hasn't worked out quite well for me. But hopefully I can finish it off. I was hoping that the Duke would go behind the Fire Spitter, but he opts to go in front of it for whatever reason. I guess he's feeling a little bit masochistic, right? That could be the case. Let's just freeze this Monolith, and that should be 3 stars done. Yo, OP Doom, thank you so much. How many attacks left? It's only a few at this point. Maybe only one. I didn't really keep track. Actually, it's finished, believe it or not. I've just finished all of my attacks. And these are the ranks I have at the moment, although I do think obviously once the defense kicks in, it's going to be a little bit shuffled. Like it's already shuffled because of random defenses taken and some accounts maybe not having defenses yet. So yeah, it's been a good day overall. Let's check what my average was. So I have 267 here. On Fear I have 297. And on Rage I have 280. One star? I think so. I think that's the only 1 star I've done all day. Okay, so 267 plus 297 plus 280 plus 285 plus 291 plus... I have one more, I'm looking for it. $282 equals 1702 divided by 6 equals 283.667. That is my average for today across all 6 of my accounts. It's not that great, I'll be honest. I would have preferred something above 290 there, but it is the end of the season. I do think that the bases I came across today were pretty decent. And yeah, that does pretty much conclude the stream. I guess we can take a quick look at this defense here. Try to see if this ends up successful or not. He opts for a zap into throwers. Although, I do think it would have been better if he sent the Duke from up top and then started a push with the throwers over here. That could have potentially worked out a little better. As you can see, it's a little bit of a messy entry. CC troops are coming out, trying to intercept him. This is probably going to defend. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but I do foresee that this is not the end of his complications. The king is getting slowed down by this poison tower. Lots of spells remaining. He did send a couple of super barbarians to pick up the monolith, which I do think was clutch. So maybe this does end up going through just fine. Unless he has some kind of a time fail. He could time fail because of the walls, but he does have a couple of super wall breakers remaining. He's just revived the Duke, but eventually the Duke is going to go into a air defense over here. Yeah, the only way I can see this failing now is a time fail. I think this does triple. Good stream, thank you so much. You do my attacks? Nah, bro. Would rather you, get better, bro. You make it look so easy. Nice hits, thank you so much. I've been having it in the background, that's cool. You failed 99%. It was just a botched attack. And did you triple that CWL hit that I helped you plan? Yeah, this is gonna time fail. The throwers are suck. He can't use overgrowth to even speed it up either. Like, obviously he would need a haste spell at this point. A raise spell or a haste spell. But yeah, the entry was just terrible, I'll be honest. He obviously should have started over here. And swag the overgrowth with 91%. Nice defense. Hopefully we can get some more defenses to... No, that's my botch hit. You did a late freeze and then your minion prince turned right when I used it. Yeah, so the core probably melted you a bit. Because that is the most dangerous part of the base. And so you need good freezes and a good orb to deal with that base properly. Let's take a quick look before we sign off at the overall standings for Legend League CWL. I think that we're going to be finishing either 3rd or 4th in our group. So if we finish 3rd, then we should be in the top 10. Let's go and look at the overall standings. Cup Up Baby is rank 1, and I do think that they will be finishing in rank 1. Savage Stars is rank 2, which is pretty cool. I think that they're in the same group as Dutch Lightning, so maybe it's still a face-off between them. Maybe they're not, actually, because this says 1, meaning first place in the group. So they should be in separate groups, right? GreenEternity is rank 11, which is not bad. Hopefully we can end up ahead of Display of Power. That would be our only way of making it into the top 10. Is if we can either get ahead of Display of Power or somehow get ahead of Silent Army, but they have to choke big time for that to happen. Yeah, overall pretty interesting. Was the Yada hit a 1-star or 2-star fail? That does remind me that I should show you that, right? I forgot to, I'm sorry. Let's take a look. It was a 2-star fail. I'm not giving up on it yet. I'm starting to 3-star consistently. That's good. Glad to hear that. This was Yata yesterday, and I'm glad that this replay is still here. You can take a quick look at this. Really, the only thing that went wrong with this attack were the way his healers went down. I'll show you. He starts his queen charge over here. And he opts, obviously, for the Angry Jelly queen charge. And yeah, so he used pretty much all of his Coco loans. All but 1. And yeah, you can see this multi-inferno right here is damaging the healers a bit. But then I think that the healers end up walking into the poison tower as well, so they're getting damage from that as well. And then this other multi-inferno. So you can see there that the healers are already at like half HP. So they're extremely vulnerable to traps at this point. And he sends his last Coco Loon into the approach right into an air defense, which was not quite precise. He obviously should have waited for the air defense to go down. And then he has a troop launcher, which it looks like the only thing in the troop launcher is a Super Yeti Super Valk. So there's no more trap clearance for the healers. And so there is the Heroic Torch and the Eternal Tome. And yeah, here are the traps taking his healers down. If he had managed to control his queen in such a way that was able to do the same setup but without getting touched by the multi-infernos, then he could have tripled this very easily. But those multi-infernos touching his healers ultimately stopped him in the end of this one. Damn, 3 a.m. It is 3:08 a.m. Definitely very late for me, but I'm planning to pull an all-nighter because I just had a coffee not too long ago, and yeah, I definitely need to turn around my sleep schedule a little bit, so I'll be awake for a while. Let's take one quick last look at the enemy bases. If any of you guys have any friendly challenges for these bases, I would appreciate if you came over. As unfair as that might sound, but I'll take whatever advantage we can get. Especially because we're in a close fight now for third place. You use 8 loons all day, you usually 6. Yeah, that's correct. I switched to 8. I actually like having those couple of extra rocket loons, especially because what I typically see is that there'll be like a wizard tower and then an air defense right behind it. And on symmetrical bases, that's obviously on both sides, so having those couple extra rocket loons makes it easier to pick up the air defenses. The 7th dragon doesn't actually make as big of a difference as I once thought. Having only 6 dragons seems to be working pretty decently. This one looks easy, especially because of the fire spitter positioning. I could set up a Hydra to go behind one of the fire spitters, and I'd be able to hold my healing tome until the poison tower throws on me. I might want to flag that base, we'll see. Number 12, this one's very common. And yeah, that's it for the enemy bases. Alrighty, y'all. I'm going to call it good on the stream. It's been a fun stream. Nice to get through all of my end of season attacks in this stream, especially in such a short time too, right? 3.5 hours actually kind of went by like nothing, you know? You have 12, you use 12 rocket loons. That's quite a lot actually. Anyway, it's been fun. I'm going to sign off, and yeah. Alrighty, y'all. Have a great night and take care. Peace.